All of us reach a point in time where we are depleted and need to somehow find a way to reignite the fire within. But how do we spark that flame? Welcome to Reignite Resilience, where we will venture into the heart of the human spirit. We'll discuss the art of reigniting our passion and strategies to stoke our enthusiasm. And now, here are your hosts, Natalie Davis and Pamela Cass.
Welcome back to another episode of Reignite Resilience. I am your co-host, Natalie Davis, and I'm so excited to be back with all of you today. And joining me, of course, is your co-host, Pam Cass. Hello, Pam. How are you today?
I am fantastic. And I actually had the honor of getting to be interviewed by your daughter this morning for her college senior project or whatever she's doing. And it was just so fun because when she got on the screen and I see this beautiful woman that she's turned into, I still remember her like in braces when we were in Spain. And we had so much fun laughing and we just had such a great trip. And I was like, I think we need to do another trip together.
Another trip.
Yes, we do. So it was just fun to see what she's grown up into. It's pretty amazing.
Oh my gosh. Yes. It's like project after project. This is, she's in the home stretch of her senior year and she just wrapped up her capstone project. And then she said, well, I've got another project that I have to do, and where she's interviewing fabulous business leaders. And so I gave her a couple of names, and then I talked to her today and she's like, oh no, my professor just gave me 2 more projects to do before the end of the year. And I said, just hang in there. This is the only thing that separates you from graduation. You just keep going.
Going one foot in front of the other.
Exactly. But when I started like reaching out to folks and I sent the message to you and I was like, how did I get back in the spot where I'm her assistant? Like, what's happening here? I'm not setting up her meetings.
This is what we do for our children.
Exactly.
Forever.
Oh exactly. I know. That's why I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not your assistant. I can't help you. You do your own work. You're doing it.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that all turns out. She's got a couple of projects that are in the works, but it's right in her wheelhouse and she's loving it. So thank you for volunteering and saying yes. Or I guess being voluntold and saying yes.
I was voluntold. I would never have said no.
Exactly.
She would have.
Oh my gosh. Well, we have a fabulous guest that's joining us today, and I am super excited to dive in. Pam, why don't you let our listeners know who's joining us today?
Absolutely. So today we have Lacey Kazoo McLean. She is the founder and CEO of Rubia. Did I say that right?
You did. Thank you.
Okay. A Calgary-based fashion tech company redefining professional style through non-toxic materials, AI-powered wardrobe tools, and sustainable design. With 16 years of experience in IT project management, Lacy blends technical precision with conscious innovation to solve hidden problems in women's professional clothing, particularly toxicity, microplastics, and decision fatigue, my favorite topic.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for joining us, and want to kind of hand it over to you and what got you into the business that you're into today, because it's very unique, but I think an incredible venture.
Yeah. Thank you. It's certainly been an adventure. They say if you really knew what you were going to go through at the, during the whole journey, not really sure if you'd start.
Yeah, exactly.
that would I guess summarize it. But it started years ago. I was a very creative child and teenager. I used to spend a lot of time scribbling and sketching and drawing designs and designing clothing, and then characters to go with the clothing. And you'd look at my pages in school and there'd be flowers and characters drawn all around, probably not as focused as I should have been, but it was just the beginning of kind of this creativity. And then I went on to university, did business school, checked all the boxes, did all the right things, and went on to start a career in project management in IT. I've been doing that now for 16 years. And over those years, I learned a lot about technology and about fashion. And there was an idea always kind of percolating in the back of my mind, which I'm not sure if you know this movie. Most people do, but you never know. Clueless with Alicia
Mhm.
Silverstone.
Yes.
So in the movie, she has her virtual closet. And back in the 90s, when this concept came out, I remember myself being like, this is incredible. Like, we need these digital closets. Like, look at her. She's like, she can make her outfit combinations beforehand. And it
Yes.
stayed with me. But you know how it stayed with me is, I think a lot of us have the tendency to do this. Oh, someone else will go create that.
Yeah.
Somebody
Mhm.
else is going to invent that. And there is other solutions out there. There's similar things. There's people that have attempted to do it. But I felt like every attempt has just not quite checked all of the boxes for me, where
Mhm.
I was still a little bit frustrated after checking out these virtual wardrobe apps and felt like it's not quite what I thought it was going to be. And I, kind of going on with life, this idea is kind of formulating. It comes to you ever so often, right? And
Mhm.
then my daughter is actually in her grade 12 year, her senior year in high school, and we started working together to design her graduation dress. And we started this actually back when she was in grade 11. And so I took a fashion design certificate or course online in order to be like, okay, we're going to do this, me and her, like, we're going to design this dress. And it just lit that flame from back when I was a teenager in
Oh,
school. And that creativity I've always had. I also do write books as well, and so I've known that I'm creative. It's just I haven't had time to like really get into this old passion that I had. And it was
mhm.
just like, honestly, just like lit on fire, and the passion was just back in full force. And now though, what comparative to my teenage years, I had all this technology experience. And I was also really starting to learn about sustainability and starting to want to make more sustainable choices, kind of like learning about microplastics getting into the environment, all of our
Mhm.
synthetic clothes that we wear, how they can impact our skin. There's
Mhm.
chemicals in them that can get absorbed into our skin. So I started just kind of learning more about that. My husband is a city firefighter, and he gets exposed to being a first responder to and being in the fire fighting business to a lot of smoke, a lot of toxins. Their gear gets a lot on it, and workplace cancers are a problem across the
Mhm.
board for firefighters. It's a known thing because of
Yeah.
the exposures that
Mhm.
they have in their career. He got really into, look, when I'm not at work, I want to make healthy conscious choices because my life might be impacted, just because of what I do in and day out. And when I am home, maybe I can give myself a little bit of a chance here, to make good healthy choices. And so he started looking into organic clothing and, not having plastics as much that we're drinking out of, and all of those sorts of things. And I was like, oh, I'm busy. Busy
Mhm.
her, busy mom. I'm like, I don't want to
Yeah.
worry about all these things, right? I just want to live. But over time I started to look things up online, and I started to be like, oh, he's right. And just kind of starting to get a little bit bothered by it all. And so then I
Mhm.
was like, what? I want to buy organic cotton blazers. I want
Mhm.
to see what's out there for bamboo. I want to see
Mhm.
what other options are out there. If I'm going to spend a bit of dollars on a nice piece of clothing, well, then why can't it be sustainable?
Yeah.
And what I ended up finding was it was so hard. And this was all happening at the same time. So while I'm doing this adventure with my daughter, and I'm taking this certificate, I'm working in technology, and I'm struggling as a female professional to find clothes I actually like, that are sustainable, that are good for the
Mhm.
environment. And when I'm done with them, if they do end up in a landfill, they're going to break down,
Yeah.
return to earth, and not just into small little plastics that end up in the water and
Mhm.
back into us consumed. And again, we're back to the long-term sicknesses that could come up from that and all of that. And I had a moment. I was planning a trip to New York with my kids, and it was because my daughter always wanted to see Wicked on Broadway. And so this was her like birthday present, and I was like, okay, we're gonna go to New York. I'm gonna take you, the two oldest, and my son included. He's 15, and we're gonna go to Broadway, and we're gonna go to Wicked, and all this. Well, here we are. I'm taking this fashion course. There's a fabric fair in New York, in Manhattan at this time. And I bought tickets. My kids were not that thrilled.
No.
Yeah, just miles and miles of fabric. You're gonna love it.
There's a lot of things for us to do in New York, Mom. Going to a fabric fair was not on our list of
No.
But we went, and while I was there, then again back to the sustainability, which my husband and I are going through this whole journey, and they're talking about how sustainability is the future, how fabrics are becoming more healthy for us, how this almost all the fabric makers need to be kind of up on all of this, because this is what the consumer is growing to educate themselves and want, and they're expecting to have healthier choices out there for them. And so it all just kind of came to a head. And then I was like, well, I'm going to meld all my experiences together, my technology, my inspiration to create a dress, this fabric expo, like my husband's journey to making healthy choices, and me going on that journey with him. And I'm going to start a brand. And it was a very weird moment, because it was like, remember, that's a lot. Number one, there's a lot there. And, but at the same time, it was a moment of clarity in the greatest way, where, when you know you're supposed to do something, and deep down in your soul, in your gut, something comes to you, and it either is telling you, look, this is a terrible idea, don't do this, and whatever you believe, it's guiding you not to do that. It was such a moment of just certainty that fell right deep into my stomach of, this is what you need to do. And then I had the fearful moment that followed, which is, God, source, universe, whatever it is that you believe in, I don't have time. I've got 3 kids. I've got a professional career. I don't have time for this. Like, would I even be good at it? Am I the right person? Isn't there lots of other wonderful people in the world who would be better? Like, we go through all these like kind of like moments of doubt, and then the feeling in my stomach was still there. And I was just like, oh, it won't go away.
Exactly. This one is yours. It's not anyone else's. Yes.
And then I was just like, okay. All right. I clearly, when I get to my deathbed, which hopefully isn't anytime soon, but you never know. When I get there, am I going to regret not trying?
Yeah.
And I had that moment, and here I am, like kind of going back and forth with it. And I just realized that I would, and I already knew it even before we were in New York. Like, the idea was already percolating. I had kind of started formulating it. The company was coming together, but I hadn't completely talked myself into it, even though I was taking those little actions to make it all come together. I would say that New York was what cemented it, even though it was coming together in there. So, and I was getting there, I wasn't totally like committed until after that. And then, it was like, just this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And whatever it takes, however crazy it sounds, I'm sure my family's going to think I'm crazy. You got a great career, you got great kids, you got other things to worry about, why you want to go start this company. It's the life of us. But I just like, I gotta do it. And it was just the beginning of many, many months of decisions and vendor selections and designing the app and designing the clothes and finding a clothing partners to manufacture everything, marketing it, picking out branding, building a Shopify site, building an app, hiring a developer, testing, which is where we're at right now, and all of those things. And it was just like, it took on this life of its own. And it almost like, Carrie Underwood has this song, Jesus Took the Wheel. And that's what it felt like. Again, whatever you believe, but like, that's what it felt like, is he had the wheel and was steering things. And yes, I'm trying to listen and make all this happen, but it really felt like very destined, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I love it. So going to New York, going to the fabric show, seeing that there was this trend for the healthier fabrics was kind of what was like, okay, so this is something can be a reality. Because at first there was like very little that you could find that was sustainable clothing.
Yes, exactly. Well, and I'm actually wearing a Rubia blazer right now. So this is 100% organic cotton blazer. And this is a 100% bamboo shirt, also Rubia. And yeah, thank you. And so it really, I was already looking and already frustrated at that point, because I couldn't find clothes that I liked in the sustainable space. Something that was great, like looked really nice on and looked structured and tailored, and that you could, wear to a special event or a big meeting, and not somebody be like, oh, that's organic, isn't it? Oh, that's kind of like, it kind of like doesn't look ultra professional, or it's kind of like professional casual is the way that I would put it. And so that was where I was just like, there really is a bit missing in the market, where the professional woman, or the woman that loves a good blazer or a beautiful dress shirt, isn't really finding or having a ton of options out there. And so they naturally go back to the synthetic fibers, to the fast fashion, to whatever it might be, because there's more options out there, and there's actually stuff they like. And so I was like, well, I want to create a brand. Well, maybe we're not the trendiest brand, but I really want to create a brand that women can build, especially professional women, can build a capsule wardrobe off of, with those critical pieces that we all need to look nice at any given event or day, which is a great pair of sustainable dress pants that look awesome. You need a straight leg, you need a wide leg, like whatever it is, but it's going to look really good. We need a great blazer that we can pair in maybe a couple different colors, a nice button up essential dress shirt, a few blouses. And I was just like, okay, like this doesn't seem like too much I'm asking for, but go find 100% organic blazer that you like online, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, where is this?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
That's interesting.
And so it's like, I guess I'm going back to my synthetic blazer. That's the biggest problem with synthetics that I've learned now through this whole journey, and even slightly before, was that polyesters take about 200 years to break down, if not more, in the environment when they end up in landfills. And a great majority of our clothing end up in landfills. And they're either shipped off, textile waste is either shipped off to other developing countries, which is super rude if you think about it, right? And then it's either incinerated there, or so the burn off is going into the air over in other countries. Or it's in our landfills, just building up. And the biggest problem with anything that's kind of more of a synthetic plastic type situation is when it breaks down, it kind of breaks down into it's not like what happens with anything that's organic. It's going to break down and actually turn into dirt, eventually return back and enter the life cycle of all things wonderful in this world. But what happens is it turns into a plasticky mush. It turns into mush, right? Because what's going to happen? We have something plastic. It's not going to break down and go feed a tree. It's going to break down into mush, and that mush is going to break down into little tiny pieces of plastic, of synthetic material. that really never totally breaks down and returns to the earth. That little pieces of mush and end up going through the soil, enter the waterways,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Um, and then we consume it.
Mm.
And in fact, through our body, it ends up into seafood, it ends up in the oceans, it ends up in wherever it is that it's going to end up. And now they're starting to do more and more studies about the impact, the long-term impact, because our clothes are just one of the just very small, or it's actually a big piece of the waste problem and microplastic problem we have in the world. But we're also consuming the so we don't see it because it's happening on such a small level. But if you're wearing a synthetic piece of clothing and you rub it against something, or it gets older, or you wash it a few times, there's actually little pieces of fibers that are coming off of it all the time. You're actually inhaling those. And those
Mm.
are building up in your brain, in your body, all over. They find microplastics inside of us everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And we don't think about it because we don't see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like, if we're not thinking about it, and we're busy, but I'm not worrying about the fact I'm breathing in, plastic off my clothes. But those little fibers are actually getting into your system, and over time, wreaking havoc.
Yeah.
And they're only the studies there's still so much more for us to learn.
Just getting started. Yeah.
We're just getting started, and so that's we just talked about two ways that it kind of comes back and gets and it ends up inside of you.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, once you really start digging into it and you start thinking about the health impacts, it's kind of like, oh, we gotta solve this problem. We gotta give women options so they don't have to, in order for them to look good, feel good, they don't have to always revert back to the synthetic items. They can actually have and build some base items in their wardrobe that are more sustainable and biodegradable and friendlier for them from a health perspective and the environment. And so I'm on a mission now. I'm on a mission. I want to give women what they're looking for because I was looking for it and couldn't find it.
Yeah. Tell me about a little bit about affordability, because I know that there's always this concern that, well, I can't get healthy food because it's so much more expensive than, the coupon for the buy one, get one free potato chips. And so tell us a little bit about the affordability in sustainable clothing.
So I would say equating sustainable clothing to organic food in the grocery store is a perfect way to describe it.
Okay.
So when you go to the grocery store, and this is so silly, and it talks just about health equity. So the fact that why does healthy things cost more, and why does that mean only people who can afford to be healthy get to be healthy?
Yeah.
Why is there not more focus on health equity, equality? So sorry, yeah, health equality is everything.
Yeah.
We should not be telling people through pricing that they can't afford to make healthy choices. Now, through government grants, programs, whatever it is, we know we can solve this problem. We've seen them attempt to solve it in other industries. There's a lot they could do to help equal out this situation. But now that I'm in the business and I've had to actually produce sustainable clothing, the fabric that we procure with all the certifications, so saying it's GOTS certified, it's ethical, ethical production, right? That it indeed is organic. Those fabrics cost a lot more money to produce. We're paying an arm and a leg just as sustainable clothing manufacturers. And even when we outsource and we make our clothing overseas, we are still paying an arm and a leg. Even over there, you're going to be paying to make sustainable clothes. And I mean, it's not even double. I think it's more than double what you're going to pay, what they're paying for clothing that could be seeped in toxins, right? That are not are going to contribute to the textile waste problem that we're having on Earth. That isn't great for people. Like, why is clothing that is not good for you cheaper? And
Mhm.
why are we making it so expensive and so hard for
Yeah.
the companies that are coming along, the clothing brands that are coming along and saying, look, we want to be healthy, we want to bring sustainable
Mhm.
options out there. But oh, we're going to be paying way more to produce our clothes. And therefore we have to consider that in our pricing,
Yeah,
right? You can't
absolutely.
go, you still have to you can't go, you got to be
Yeah,
able to support your operations, so you can't
absolutely.
price too crazy, or you're trying to run a business, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Now the government could help. There's a lot of things that they could do to
Mhm.
help to equalize that,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and but they don't. And why would they? And it doesn't benefit. So the other thing too is a lot of the fast fashion brands and fast fashion in general, um, they have no motivation. People are buying their clothes at
Yeah.
the, they all, people are more motivated by pricing. Fair enough, the
Yes.
world is tough.
Yep.
Everybody's on a budget,
Yep.
and so they're like, well, nobody's worrying. We're not being asked to display on the tag what chemicals are in these clothes, how long
Yeah.
it's going to take to break down if it ever ends up in a landfill.
Yeah.
We're not telling people, and people aren't asking. So why do we have to tell them? Why do we have to tell them that
Mhm.
that there's chemicals that are forever chemicals that are
Mm-hmm.
providing stain resistance and water resistance on their clothes, again, that are getting into the environment and potentially into them,
Yeah.
and they're never going away. You know how people are starting to get, in general, or folks are starting to get more concerned about drinking out of plastic water bottles.
Yes.
Well, it's the same thing. Is if the water bottle's sitting on your desk, your clothes are sitting on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Touching your skin.
Yeah.
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 So it's like, okay, well, so you're not drinking out of your plastic water bottle, but
Mhm.
you're wearing the
Yeah.
clothes every day, day in and day out, all year long,
Yeah.
and on the now they're starting to say, oh, well, you have to say if there's forever chemicals in that cup you're giving your child. But
Yeah.
why aren't we required to say that there's certain things in the clothing we're putting on our children?
Yeah. Well, I think until the education is out there to let people know, because I will clearly admit that I had no idea about the toxic stuff and the plastics coming off and me breathing it. So
Yeah.
until more people know about it, people are not going to, stand up and say, "Hey, we want that to be on our labels because I don't want this on my kids."
Yeah.
I don't want my baby to be in clothes that they're going to be ingesting plastic from just breathing.
Yeah.
And so I think it's the education piece of it. So what you're doing, the podcast and getting out there, what your husband's doing, getting the awareness, I think it's one person at a time. So
Mm-hmm.
it's you get
Yeah.
your yeah, that was what your mission was.
Yeah, exactly. And we're trying to price okay, but I mean it is a little bit more expensive. But I think the other thing is we're fighting back with trying to reduce textile waste in landfills by introducing technology. And that's really what the Rubia brand is about, melding sustainability with technology and realizing that together they actually help each other out.
Yeah.
So our virtual wardrobe app is going to help people, anyone, to better utilize the clothes that they have in their closet, right?
Okay.
So what how often do we have clothes that we don't wear, that find the dusty recesses of the closet,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And how can we bring those clothes back to life?
Mm.
How can we find them again? How can we create outfit combinations? What can we do? So while we were designing the virtual closet app, we were just like, this is the question we have to answer. Like, how do we help people shop their closets? Yes, we're
Yeah.
selling a clothing brand, but to truly achieve our goal, which is reduce textile waste, we need to reduce the amount of clothes that end up in the landfills. And
Yes.
yes, there's clothes in our closets that we're not wearing, and I have synthetic clothes. We're all on a budget, right? Like
Mhm.
it would cost a lot of money to replace all of your clothes with
Yeah.
synthetics. So that's why we really focus, or sorry, with sustainable.
Organic
Um,
and sustainable. Yes.
but like, how can we how can we meld those two worlds together where it's not one or the other? And this is, I remember feeling like this when I started on this journey. I was like, okay, well, up until this point, I'm in my 40s. Like up until this point, I haven't really been worrying about this. This is new to me. I've been buying whatever clothes I want that fit the budget and that look cute. Like I've got all these clothes. And now I'm trying to make choices, but I don't want to be guilted. I don't want to feel bad. Like I'm going to go buy my sustainable blazer. I'm going to spend a few extra dollars for it, but I'm not going to feel bad if I wear my sustainable blazer with my synthetic shirt. Okay, guys, it's happening.
Yes. No judgment. Everyone just do your part. That's right.
That's exactly what we need to do, though. We need to stop guilting women and guilting people. Like anyone. And I say this because our apps are usable for anyone across the board. The brand itself is for women, but the app is usable and for whoever might want to use it. And let's start supporting each other. And just when we look at a volume perspective, if we start making even 10% to 25% of our purchases sustainable. Yeah. Think about that when you put even millions of people together, making even a small incremental change where it's like, look, I only buy organic bamboo pants now. Like that's it. And even a few women make that choice. That's an incredible reduction in textile waste. The other thing too is we typically, I was looking up all these stats, right, for podcasts, and we typically wear our clothes. This is so bad. I was on a podcast with a man like who's kind of a scientist, and he was like, I wear my clothes a lot more than you're about to say here. I can feel it. I'm like, yes. I said this statistic, and then his face was just like, because women wear their clothes 7 to 10 times before they find those dusty recesses. On average, the fast fashion business is 7 to 10 times. And then we have our trusty few items that like continually always use them. But it's like, and we don't, I think in the podcast business, you probably get this too. It's like, oh, I wore that shirt last podcast.
Yes.
Right? It's like, I feel like I wore it too many times now.
Exactly. No, Lacey, you're so right. Like with like how many photos are captured, right? Like moments that you're recording a video podcast, the pictures that that capture you when you're doing things. It's like, well, I wore that the last time. If I wear that again, what are people going to think, right? And that all feeds into the same problem that we're talking about, right?
Like, and it's like,
talk about fast fashion as well. Yeah,
that article or piece has met its time. I might take it back out in 2 or 3 years. We'll see. Likely not. Yeah. Right. We hope.
Thank you for joining us today on the Reignite Resilience podcast. We hope you had some aha moments and learned a few new real-life ideas to fuel the flames of passion. Please subscribe on your favorite streaming platform, like or download your favorite episodes, and of course, share with your friends and family. We look forward to seeing you again next time on Reignite Resilience.